are the Detroit Lions just keep making moves, signed 2 defensive linemen, traded somebody. The guys that we cut are getting picked up. We got practice squad players getting added. A lot to get to, and we'll get right to it. So the first thing, we trade Tim Patrick. You've seen it by now, but this is, you just got to strike when the iron's hot type of thing. When someone offers you a 6th-round pick, I think 10, 20 years ago, a 6th-round pick was just such a throwaway pick in the draft. But now we're seeing they're so valuable. These picks, 6th, 7th round, are so valuable. The Lions thought, you know what, Tim Patrick, he had an up and down camp. He even said it himself, like Tim Patrick's like, I got to get it going. Like, I can't figure out what's going on. So shout out Tim Patrick. Love you. Appreciate everything you did for us last year. Remember, we didn't have him. We didn't really have a 3rd receiver last year. We find Tim Patrick, and it just rounded out our receiving group. So thank you, Tim Patrick. Now, T-Slaw, what up? This means he is what we think he is, right? Because I think in preseason games, you're like, no, dude, he's catching touchdowns and he looks good. He looks strong. But the Lions like, yeah, practice, film room, all the stuff. He checks every box. We're going to roll with him. So I love that. And this is where Tim Patrick's like, I feel frustrated. That's why it's not showing up right now, because in OTAs it did. Training camp's a little different. I just got to pick this up. And so the Lions like, we'll get a 6th-round pick for you. So that's why you don't really trade, because like the Lions, like the Jags are trading for him. They don't know. They haven't been in training camp. The Lions are in training camp with him. Like, yeah, we'll take a 6th-round pick. So good move. Love that. Second thing is, or another thing is that we cut guys and we're at 50 when we should have been at 53, right? We cut down past where we're supposed to because we were looking to add a couple other guys. So it was pretty interesting because we cut Nate Lynn. We cut some defensive ends that we thought were going to make the team. But instead, what we do is we get 2 defensive linemen from other areas that were cut. And I got to kind of get my head around this a little bit, because the Lions claim Tyler Lacey and Tyrus Wheat. Both players will immediately join the active roster. Lacey was a 23 4th-round pick of the Jacksonville Jags. So I love this because, again, the Jags are not a well-run franchise. Hopefully they screwed up. They screwed him up. They didn't develop him. Let's get him in here. Let's go. 2 seasons. He played in 28 games and started 8 for the Jags last season. Right? So it's like, okay. So I was just talking about, though, the Jags are letting him go, being like, all right, man, we're just going to cut you. So we got to be careful picking them up from somebody else. But we're banking on that the Jags aren't good with their development and all that. I love that. In total, so 6'4", 280. Lacey is the mold of a tweener, capable of playing on the interior and on the edge. So Lacey's an interesting one. Wheat went undrafted in 23 and spent 2 seasons with the Cowboys. He made 20 game appearances. His rookie season, he played mostly on special teams. This year, he logged defensive snaps, 14 tackles, a half sack. So we are banking that these players are better than Keith Cooper, Nate Lynn, and there's something that we can't see or we don't know. Meaning that they were scouted heavily. We know about them more than those guys. So it's interesting to me because, again, you've got those guys in the building, the Nate Lynn's. You see what they can do. We just don't think I think that's exactly what it is. Like, I think this is all we can get out of these guys. Let's bring in some other guys. Maybe they've got more ceiling and there can be some more there. And I think that's what we're looking for. So if you take this over and look at now, this is guys we added to the 53. Oh, yeah, another guy. Daniel Thomas, safety, we added from the Jags. Pull this up. We added a safety from the Jaguars who's a veteran, a great special teams player. I've talked about this a lot, and we've got now like 4 of these guys where each team has like their special teams ace. We took the Indianapolis Colts special teams ace and Grant Stewart, and you can see how he's like a returning kicks, and he's covering, and he's a great linebacker. It's like, oh, all right. Daniel Thomas was that of the Jaguars. And we've also got like our own guys that are really good. So we've got like 4 like really good special teams players now with the safety and depth piece of Daniel Thomas. So here's our 3 that we added to get back up to the 53-man roster. As for the practice squad, we brought some of these guys back. Perfect. Even, it's not even on here yet, but Dan Skipper is back with the practice squad. Perfect. Remember, any team can come get our guys off the practice squad, but they have to move them to the active roster. They can't just be swapping practice squad players. So they're basically unprotected on the practice squad is what that means. So good for them. They get to move on and go to an active roster situation. But so that's the risk of just like, oh, they're on our practice squad. Well, they could get picked off at any point. So we just got to keep an eye on that. We'll get back to that in just a second. But Hendon Hooker did go to the Panthers. So I would be just shocked. He's going to be on their practice squad. Good for him. I think Dan Campbell talked about it. Change of scenery, all those things. I think 100% would be just wishing him well. I'd be shocked and be just disappointed, devastated, really, if he goes on and is like really good. But there's no way. I mean, there's no way. Not from what we've seen so far. So he's gone to Carolina. Good for him. Now, looking at who else signed. So Broderick Martin and Hendon Hooker. Hendon Hooker signed and Broderick Martin to the Chiefs practice squad. So it's like, all right, good for them. I think there's too much upside for these other teams to not be like, let us try. I don't know. And so shout out to them. So now you look at our 53-man roster and it's just, man, we look good. Interior offensive line, it's like you two better be about it because we need you. I mean, and then Giovanni Manu and Jamarco Jones need you. That's kind of where I'm at. Like the line, the offensive line depth is where I just really am like, hey, if Manu's like just going to be a good, solid backup, nothing special, great. Same with Jamarco Jones. If either of these two, same thing, right? Because, man, we are just one injury away from one of these dudes playing, and he's played and he's fine, but you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. Okay, the other one, check this out. And Miles Frazier, by the way, is injured reserve, so look forward to see him come back. Let's go. Those two, I'm telling you. We all know Aiden Hutchinson, of course, but Marcus Davenport's healthy. All the reports consistent. Like, dude, this guy's unbelievable. He's huge. And then Muhammad, I think we all loved him. And then Tyrus Wheat, the new guy. I mean, we just got rid of all of our defensive ends. And we're like, Tyrus Wheat. I don't know. Just because we haven't seen him, we don't know. It's like I would like to see and be a little bit more confident in that. Okay, something else. Just rapid firing you here. Kyle Hamilton signed for the Baltimore Ravens, 4-year, $100 million. This means Brian Branch is got to be right around here. It's just, what do we do? Do we give him 4 years, $105 million? I mean, $25 million for him, for Aiden Hutchinson. Like, Aiden Hutchinson's the second he's available, we're going to make him the highest paid D end in the history of NFL, and boom, right? But there's Laporta. So it's just going to be a great problem that we've never had as Lions fans is, hey, we've got all these great players that are due for getting contracts that are best at their position. Like, how's that work? I don't even remember this before. I don't even remember guys like getting re-signed or due. Like, we're looking 2 years ahead. Like, oh, we're gonna have to pay this guy because we just know he's the best. He's the best safety in the league. Or Aiden Hutchinson, best defensive end. Jahmyr Gibbs, best running back in the league. Like, how are we gonna pay these guys? Jeez, no. It was the days of like. I'm trying to think of like those early 2000s receivers or anybody but we had. We're like, I don't even remember Kelvin being like due for a contract or whatever. I wasn't paying attention. Back then. Just thinking, all right, this is our year, baby. 2005. All right. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Make sure you subscribe, and we'll see all of you on the next one.